What's up, guys? Thanks for being here. I'm going to do this video on the EcoFlow River 2 Pro. This is a brand new unit that has come out from EcoFlow. Basically, they're redoing their River series, and so the River is no longer done, and they now have the River 2. I've already done one video on my River 2 unit, so there's a River 2, River 2 Max, and then the River 2 Pro. Now, spoiler alert, I like this unit, and you'll see why as I go through this video, because I've already been testing this for quite some time. But I want to go through a lot of those tests with you in this video so you can see how it performs on its own. It's got some great features and some things that are quite surprising, but it may not be the perfect setup for you. This is definitely not an emergency preparedness type item as far as its capacity and ability to run emergency essential equipment unless you're really portable. I mean, you could argue possibly for a van life setup because it does have its X boost capability of going from its typical 800 watt output all the way to 1600 watt output. And you can add an extra battery as well. So you get upwards of 1500 watt hours of battery capacity. But overall, I think there would probably be another option that would be better suited for a van life setup. But I do like using this for just portable power. If I had to just choose one thing that could run pretty much all the basic portable things that I need, then this is a good winner. Unless you really have to run something for a really long time on a high load, then it's just not going to be able to do that. But I'm going to go over that here shortly. So thank you for being here. Stick around. We're going to go over the EcoFlow River 2 Pro. This has an 800 watt inverter. It's got a 768 watt hour battery. It is lithium iron phosphate. That is one of the big updates. These are rated to 10 years, about 3,000 cycles. So that's very impressive all on its own. And I do like the fact that you can add an expansion battery to it and that it's got a much better solar input than the previous model. This has 11 to 50 volts and up to 13 amps of solar input. But real quick, the reasons why I like this unit is because it is portable. It's only like 16.5 pounds, something like that. It's really not that heavy. Some people dislike the fixed handle. I like the fixed handle. I don't know why they didn't put a charging pad up here, a wireless charging pad for phones and stuff like that. It's got plenty of outlet options. The back is very simple and clean. You got all your specs right here, wall charger input, solar input right here. It's got a 100 watt USB-C output if you really want that. It's got a lot of great features and good fans, good airflow. So I'm definitely impressed with this unit. The quality is definitely there, and we've come to expect that from EcoFlow now. It's just, they're really starting to put stuff out on the market that is high quality, that people like, and is reliable, and their customer service has been pretty good. So I've been really happy with EcoFlow. You guys know, so I've got the River 2, I've got the Delta, I've got the Delta 2, I've got the Delta Max, I've got the Delta Pro. So I have a lot of EcoFlow equipment and I do like it. But the biggest reasons I use something like this is just for portable power. I've used it a lot for recharging cordless tool batteries. So a lot of my 18 volt and 40 volt batteries, I charge off of this because this is portable and easy to just throw in the back seat of my truck. I can take all of my tools with me because I work off-grid at my off-grid cabin quite a bit. And so oftentimes I just need a little bit of power, but I don't want to lug around a huge Delta Max or even just a Delta or anything like that. This has plenty of battery capacity and enough inverter output to be able to handle that equipment. Now, especially paired with another battery and its X boost feature of up to 1600 watts output, you really could run almost anything that you would run off of a outlet in your house. Even something like a microwave, you can do the X boost feature of this, but I really would not recommend this for emergency preparedness use, simply for the fact that you could spend the same or less amount of money and get basically a bigger inverter and a bigger battery system. And so it's not really worth it at that point. Even like these Enor and AceVolt units, they are very similar to this and have a little bit more solar input. And so you're going to pay about the same price, have more solar input, more battery, larger inverter. And so those are more suited to the van life setup. Definitely still not enough for true emergency power in my personal experience. And so this is just good portable power, but not emergency power. It's just right where this fits into perfectly. That's enough jabbering about that. I want to go ahead and get right into the test. What I'm going to do is put an 800 watt load on this and see how long it runs. And that'll help us determine the efficiency of the inverter and battery. So it went for 45 minutes, which gives it a 75% efficiency rating, which is pretty typical for a lot of these systems. A little bit lower than I would have liked to have seen. I would have preferred to have seen at least 80%. I don't know if you guys saw in the video of this running here, but I have the app connected and it simply does not work very well. I don't know what's going on. It won't properly read out on the app. That may just be my unit. It may just be my Wi-Fi right now. I have no idea, but I'm successfully connected. And it was showing it for half a second or a few seconds to where it was showing me the output on the app. But overall, I have not gotten the app to work properly. And one of the things that I know it's not working properly is because in my settings, I've changed to where the screen never turns off, but it still turns off every 5 minutes. The wall charging is one of the really cool things about the River 2 Pro is it just uses a standard C13 plug right here, and there's no other adapter plug. Now, this is a little warm, especially on top, it feels warm. Definitely not hot by any means. So we're gonna plug it in. Usually if it's too warm, the overheat protection goes in and it just won't let it charge. But we're actually getting a charge right in. This has been sitting here for probably about 15 minutes since the end of that test ended. But that's actually super impressive that it's at 840 right now and climbing back up a little bit. So I just checked and my firmware is up to date. And so I really don't know what the heck is going on with it. But I want to get this charging by solar, so I'm going to go ahead and get that set up. I've got a bunch of solar panels set out there, and just this first one in this array is what I'm going to connect to the unit, so that way I can see how much power it's getting. This is a 200-watt solar panel. So let's go ahead and hook it up. Now it says here, right on the back, right where the connector is, 11 to 50 volts and 13 amps. So I could actually connect 2 of those 200-watt panels to this, because that would put me right about 40 volts and I wouldn't be exceeding the charge parameter. So let's see what we can get with one panel first, and then let's connect 2 panels. Very quickly going up here, we are now at 150, which is pretty good for this time of year. It's partly cloudy out. Let me show you the weather. So you can see, yeah, the sun is just slightly behind that cloud there. So we're hovering right around 140-ish. Let me go ahead and connect the second solar panel and see what that does. There, the sun is behind the clouds right now. So let's see what it's doing with the cloud in the way. So with 2 200-watt solar panels connected, we're getting 60 watts input while there's a cloud in front of the sun. That's actually really impressive, both on the solar panel part and on this unit. All right, so the sun is starting to come out now. I've got 2 200-watt panels connected. We're above the 150 we were at before. Still climbing, very impressive. And peaks right here at 220. It was still climbing pretty hard all the way until it hit 220. So can definitely do the full 220 watts with those 2 panels. So let's go ahead and connect the 220 watt EcoFlow panel and see how that does. You can see it right there. It's in perfect sun and we are making a full perfect 220 watts. So that panel works extremely well with this. However, you can see I had to put that shovel down right there to hold that corner, and that corner is not covering any of the cells, but it seriously had difficulty holding on because where it folds together, especially when it's cold, it doesn't want to open up. The panel has to get really warmed up for the material to relax enough for that panel to stay out like that. But regardless, it's making really good power. Now, overall, this video took multiple days to film. You can see, I had to film on a different day just for solar, and the solar input is great. The rechargeability from the wall outlet is great. It's expandable, so I do like that. It would be a little bit nicer if you could have even more solar panels onto it, but that's perfectly fine because you can definitely over panel this and run it for many hours a day recharging. So I do give this system a thumbs up. It does pretty much everything it says it's going to do, but the bigger issue has been the app. So I'm still having some connectivity issues. So EcoFlow, if you're listening, there may be some firmware updates that need to happen. Of course, this is a brand new unit. It's not too hard to believe that there's gonna be little things like that, and that's definitely one of them, is I'm not getting any of these outlets to be able to turn on from the app. And so that's a little bit of annoyance, but definitely not a deal breaker. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you especially to my Patreon members. You guys are the best. If you want to become a supporter on Patreon and get special access to me, as well as special videos that are coming out for just my Patreon members, not going out anywhere else, then you want to go to patreon.com/MinutemanPrep. If you like this, don't forget to click that thumbs up and be prepared. One of the best ways to be prepared is have emergency backup power. This isn't necessarily emergency backup power, but it is portable power But especially in today's world, you want to make sure you've got water stored, water filtration, food stored, way to protect all of that, as well as backup power. There's so much power in just having your fridge and freezer still running during an emergency, and simple systems can keep that up and running. If you want more information on that, go to poweredportablesolar.com, and I've got tons of kits of everything I personally have tested and recommend that works well for that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for being here. Be prepared. I will see you guys in the next video.